roll number is
Give me,
2161.
yes, go ahead, Hemant. Go ahead.
My name is Hemant and my roll number is 2161 and my topic for the presentation is South Policy of Delhi Sultanate. In the last class, we have discussed about the major policies and right now I am taking the suggestion given by our professor, which are about at the time of starting of Delhi Sultanate, what were the situation at the southern part of the India. Uh, the main source in from which I have taken is the book India in the Persianate Age from 1000 to 1765 AD. Uh, the first at 1000 AD, first Muhammad bin Ghazni took the invasion. At that time in the south, the dynasty that ruled over there was the Kakatiya dynasty, and the first ruler of that period was the Betaraj first, which ruled from 1000 to 1052 AD. The contribution he have made uh, is he founded the dynasty, ruled as feudality chief of the Kalyani Cholukyas, and established his capital at Koravi, which is in Karnataka, and succeeded which and his dynasty was succeeded towards his son. Uh, the next son, the his son, the Pro La, Flora Raj, took the dynasty from 1052 to 1076 AD, and the rule as feudality of Kalyani Chalukyas. He was also a devotee of Shiva's and popularly known as Ariga Kesari, uh, which is a type of name for God Shiva. He built Kesari Tamkam, a, which was a heritage site for that time, and
Change
it.
slide, Hemant. Hemant,
Oh,
slide
sorry, sir.
change.
Sorry, sir. Sorry. It is the temple at that time, which was a major consideration and a monument. He got hereditary rights to Anukomanda Vishaya from Samsvara of Kalyani Chalukyas. It is a part and a ceremony, more like ceremony, in which the first ruler or the king give his son the throne
Yes.
for his empire. The next ruler is Betraj II from 1076 AD to 1108 AD, ruled as feudality of Kalyani Cholakya. The feudality means the king give his powers to his son so that he can rule over his kingdom. He built a huge tank at Anumakonda. It is a place uh, near Telangana or at that time the Andhra Pradesh. The next ruler of that time was Durga Raj, but I didn't get that information about him. The next ruler, which has a part in the Mughal Empire too, oh Mughal, sorry, Delhi Sultanate too, was the Rudra Deva from 1158 AD to 1195 AD. His name is mentioned as the most inscription in the Rudra Sa- Savara temple at Anumakonda. He was the great patron of literature and
Slide change.
he was a great patron of art and literature and authored the Niti Sara in Sanskrit, which was one of the major part in the Sanskrit literature at that time. Constructed a majestic Rudraswara temple, uh, and for that the period of
And
mo-
don't explain these things. Mahadeva, Ganpati Deva. These
okay,
are the rulers which they ruled in during the Delhi Sultanate in the southern part of India. Okay, in the left hand
Okay.
side, Qutbuddin Aibak established a slave dynasty, later to known as the Delhi Sultanate. And in this part, right hand side part, these are the rulers which they ruled in southern part of India. Yes, next slide.
These are the some of the other rulers which took place under the rule of Kakatiya dynasty too. And then the Qutbuddin Aibak established his slave dynasty, and other were at that point. Qutbuddin Aibak has a large amount of time period that he spent on Delhi Sultanate. Mm, And this one of the important points in this paragraph is the, as you can see, the rule of 1236 on 10 November, the rule of Razia Sultan, as like others in as like in other southern states too, there was one of the female ruler which took rule and control under his rule. Uh, she was the daughter of Ganpati Deva, and her name was Rani Rudrama Devi. She was one of the first ruler who was Indian, Hindu, and become a ruler for his reign. Uh, then the 1309 AD, the Alauddin sent his commander Malik Kafur to south, which was the main part, and the different extractions and tributes were given to him. Uh, and then there were three major commanders of Alauddin Khilji at that time: Malik Kafur, Muhammad Khan, and they have allies too from the south, Pratap, Rudra, and Ramchandra, which helped him to conquer the southern areas. The conquest of Delhi, of Deccan, was purely these 4 points. The first was Devgiri, when the Malik Kafur defeated Ramchandra of Gujarat. Devgiri was besieged. Raja Ramchandra was obliged to submit. Uh, this its period was 1306 to 1307 AD. Uh, he was sent to Delhi, where Alauddin Khilji treated him generously and conferred him high titles. The second point is of Pratap Rudra Dev, which is from Warangal. Warangal was ruled by the Kakatiya dynasty by Rudra Pratap, as I said earlier. His He returned to Delhi with Malik Kafur returned to Delhi after the invasion with an immense amount of booty of money, jewels, and horses and elephants. Mainly, cavalry was the main point of the invasion. The third is the Dwar Samudra. Kafur. Kafur's next campaign of 13 or 10 AD was directed against Veerabhalla III of Hoysala kingdom of Dwar Samudra. Uh, the fourth is the sack of Madura. From Dwar Samudra, Kafur proceeded towards the country of Malabar, corresponding the Coromandel coast, which was then ruled by the Pandyas. Uh, and then Kafur reached to Madura in 1311 AD and plundered the city, which was found deserted, and then the major parts of the conquest was finished.
Yeah, Hemant. So,
Yes,
2 minute. Uh, चार इम्पोर्टेंट स्टेट थे: देवगिरी, तेलंगाना, होयसल्स यानी कि द्वार समुद्र, और मदुरा पांडे। ये जो चार यानी कि देवगिरी पहला था जो बता दिया,
yes, yes,
उसकी और दूसरा था जहाँ पे रामचंद्र, हाँ, देवगिरी राज्य रामचंद्र। आप लोग जब चार्ट्स और मैप्स बनाएंगे तो देवगिरी रामचंद्र, ठीक है। दूसरा है तेलंगाना, जिसकी राजधानी थी आपको वारंगल, हाँ, सॉरी, हाँ, जो कि और होयसल
नहीं,
जो
सही है
था,
सर, वारांगल है, वारांगल।
हाँ, वारंगल। और होयसल यादवाज। होयसल क्या था? यादवाज। और मदुरा किससे अटैच था? पांड्या डायनेस्टी से। एम राइट हेमंत? यही है।
यस सर, यस सर।
यानी कि चार स्टेट हैं, और चार स्टेट को आपको दिखाना है और आपको बोलना है, और उसी उसी तरह से मैप आपको बताना है। यही मेन चार स्टेट हैं, आप लोगों को ध्यान रखना चाहिए। ठीक है, तो कौन कौन से चार स्टेट हैं हेमंत? पहला।
सर पहला है देवगिरी,
हम्म।
दूसरा है अ, द्वार समुद्र, दूसरा है वारांगल,
हम्म।
तीसरा है द्वार समुद्रा, और चौथा है कोरोमंडल रीजन, कोस्ट स्पेशली, जो स्पेसिफिकली है मालाबार।
पांड्य, मदुरा।
हाँ जो, हाँ ये सर, जो कि पांड्याज रूल करते थे जिन।
तो यही चार स्टेट है जिनकी पॉलिसी आपको नॉर्थ के साथ देखी जाएगी। ठीक है ना? यस, गो अहेड हेमंत।
सर ये डिस्क्रिप्शन है ये मैप की, और अगर किसी को ना पता हो तो ये मतलब जहाँ पे स्टेट्स हैं ये, अब जैसे ये नाम है, ये सारी परमानेंट स्टेट्स हैं अब, जो कि द्वार समुद्रा कर्नाटका में है, वारंगल आंध्र प्रदेश, पहले के आंध्र प्रदेश अब के है तेलंगाना में, और पहले मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया था कोवरी का, जो कि कर्नाटका में है, और कोरोमंडल रीजन और मालाबार अभी भी वही है। और जो ये जो एरिया है ये अलाउद्दीन खिलजी के टोटल एम्पायर में आता है। इसमें ये पूरा सही नहीं है क्योंकि नॉर्दर्न पार्ट इसमें और ज्यादा था, जो कि अफगानिस्तान तक, पाकिस्तान से अफगानिस्तान तक भी जाते थे कुछ रीजन। ये जो मैप है, जो ग्रीन एरिया है, इसमें मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक का राइन था इसमें मेजर पार्ट्स में। और at the last I want to conclude about the policies of both the rulers which took major parts under the policy of Delhi Sultanate. Alauddin Khilji had remained contendent with these unsatisfactory arrangements because his hands were full of problems of the north. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was found in a better position, and there decided to bring Deccan within the orbit of his direct rule. For that he required tolerably large population of Muslims upon whose support he could rely on the difficult times. He was fully conscious of the fact that in crushing the supremacy of the Hindu states in the Deccan, he would have to face tremendous opposition, and nothing would be more foolish than to rely on sheer force of permanent subjugation of those territories. By making Daulatabad the center of the vast Muslim colony in the south, Muhammad Tughlaq was trying to achieve what is called the modern physiology, a peace penetration. अब लोगों को लगता है कि मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक का मेजर जो थॉट था उसकी स्टेट कैपिटल चेंज करने में, वो बस इकोनॉमिक था और पॉलिटिकल था, रादर देन कि वो कल्चरल, जबकि मेन मेन पॉइंट जो हो सकते हैं वो कल्चरल हो सकते हैं, ताकि वो, क्योंकि वो अपने साउथ जो एरियाज थे उनमें अपने मुस्लिम एनकाउंटर्स करना चाहता था और उसे बढ़ाना चाहता था, उनकी पॉपुलेशन बढ़ाना चाहता था, जहाँ ताकि ज्यादातर मुस्लिम लोग रहे वहां पे, रादर देन, क्योंकि वहां पे पहले हिंदूज का ज्यादा मेजोरिटी, वहां पे हिंदूज की ज्यादा थी। डॉक्टर हक concludes thus Muhammad Sultan's Muhammad project of so-called transfer of the capital was in reality a novel experiment in the administrative history of India, and was a peculiar invention in his ingenious mind. It has been generally held that it was a disastrous failure, but we cannot ignore that the fact that the foundation of the maintenance of independent Musliman kingdom in the Deccan would not have been possible if he had not planted some strong Muslim colonies there. Similar views has been expressed by Professor Muhammad Habib and Professor K. A. Nizami. Muhammad Professor Muhammad Habib says that the Mongol invasion of the Central Asia and Persia had driven a large number of refugees to India who settled the country for good. At the same time, the Tishti, the mystical order, carried on an extensive religious propaganda in every village of and town of Hindustan, and their efforts brought a considerable minority of poor Indians within the fold of Islam. This minority of gardeners, cooks, and barbers, etc., converted to Islam, gave to the empire of Delhi and strengthened in it needed. The view of Muhammad Tughlaq was that something like the above had to be done in the Deccan to strengthen the Muslim position in the area of Deccan. Hence, the necessity of deporting a large number of Muslims to Deccan. Muhammad bin Tughlaq made up his mind to accomplish the task. The population of Delhi was fine at social and economic until the southern capital, and he would like to take it there when he would like to take it there. That alone was not considered enough, and it was necessary to set up in the Deccan centers of Muslim social and religious culture. Hence was necessity to transport a large number of mystical Muslims like the clergy members, the scholars called ulemas, and other tribals Muslims, so that the population in the Deccan for the Muslim will increase. The view of Professor Nizami is that it was in all probability during or immediately after his campaign against Bahauddin Gursharp in the Deccan that Muhammad bin Tughlaq realized the urgent need of having a strong administrative center in the south to cope effectively and instantaneously with all the situations that arose in that region. His counselor suggested Ujjain for that purpose too, but his decision was favored in Devgiri because of his treasury and strength, and because of the distance between the two were equally equidistant. To the beauties of Devgiri and its calm, to a pride of cities in the world, his attention had been drawn by the poet Amir Khusro. Muhammad bin Tughlaq embarked upon his Deccan project after considerable thoughts and attention. It was neither a plunge in administrative experimentation nor an eccentric craze for novelty, but a well thought out solution of a problem by one who all the sultans of Delhi had most immediate experience of the difficulties in the administrative control and the military operation in the south. Professor K. A. Nizami points out that the general impression that Muhammad bin Tughlaq transferred his capital to Daulatabad is not correct. That Muhammad bin Tughlaq did was that he made Daulatabad his second administrative city of the empire. Um, Professor Nizami also says that when the contemporary and modern interpretation are taken into consideration, it appears that the Deccan experiment was basically dictated by the political exigencies in an empire in which simultaneous insurrections were operating in areas so far off as Malabar and Bengal. There was no other alternative to deal with the situation except the manner to attempt by the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Uh, As the regards its remote effect, the Deccan experiment of the Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a remarkable success for its cultural regions rather than other regions. The boundaries which had separated the north from the south broke down. It is true that the extension of administrative power of the Delhi Sultanate into the Deccan failed, but so far as the extension of cultural institutions was concerned, it was successful. At the last, Burney tells us that on all the four sides of Daulatabad, there there appeared graveyards of Mussalmans. The view of Professor Nizami says is that graveyards connected the hearts of people in the north with the soil of the south, and raised Brahmani kingdom was made possible by this influx of population. That's all for my side from my side.
The last slide